about it. This is one of the doubles they had for Lucy, and it was a test day, so the makeup doesn't look all that great. You can see the edges right there on her cheek and all that. But I just wanted to test it, and Rob wanted to see what it looked like with different lenses. Like, she's got a lens in that one eye. But it was simple. It was basically a forehead piece, cheek pieces, chin piece, the horns, ear pieces, and a hair piece that goes on. That's Bruce Spalding Fuller, who designed a lot of these makeups along with the ones in Bedeviled. So this is Lucy in her full makeup. That's Vanessa, who's Lucy's makeup artist. She just kind of maintained the makeup for us, which was great. And that's Dave putting the wings on. It was fun. I mean, we did Lucy every morning. I think I did Lucy's makeup every morning, and then we had another double, Polly, who was her stunt double to do, and then another double, Zoe Bell, who we made up as well. So we had all these Xena demons everywhere. And there's the big wings. And what we did is we had a like this vest that they would put on, and then there's like little receptacles that the wings slipped into and that could go back and forth, and then they were jointed at the tips so they can open up and flap and whatever they needed to do. But Lucy was a good sport about it, especially when it came time to do the contact lenses, because she hated them and she never complained. And then I would put them in because I feel I'm pretty good at putting lenses in, although I have giant gorilla hands. So as my hand would go towards her, she would just start laughing hysterically and say, "Here come those big bunches of bananas in my eyes." But like I said, she was always a sport, never ever complained, and was quite fantastic. All the makeups we did for this were all in foam gelatin. So I wanted them to have a level of translucency and not kind of wrinkle like foam does. And here's Lucy mugging it up, being a good sport. Big ones, and we had to find all these feathers, and most of those they're all turkey feathers that we ended up bleaching out and using. This is Zoe Bell, who doubled Xena and is a great, great stunt woman. I worked with her again on Kill Bill. She doubled Uma for all that sword fight stuff. She's fantastic. But here she is. These are the first days of testing, and we're just trying to figure out how this is going to work. And we built these big rods to help flap the wings. As you can see, that's working quite horribly. One of the other tough things was that we had these harness cables coming out, and they would wreak havoc on the feathers. And just really kind of almost like a cheese grater, just cheese grate off the foam and the feathers, and constant repair on these. And it was pretty arduous task. I mean, we'd have to take them off and go take off what was torn up, refix that, put new feathers on, then steam all the feathers down so we didn't have any that were like wild feathers sticking up. And here's Dave and myself attempting to do flappy tests with Zoe. We just shot a lot of video that we then showed to John Fawcett and Rob Tappert and Eric Grunderman to try to get, their feedback, and also for the stunt people to work out, how they were going to do this. A lot of wire work on the show, a lot of green screen, a lot of blue screen. And I think first unit, I want to say shot for like 14 days, if not a little longer. And second unit seemed like it went on for 2 months, which is really unheard of on any of these shows. This is a set of demon wings. You can see their construction's relatively the same, but they're more bat-like, obviously. How we made the membrane was we took spandex or like nylon stocking and stretched it across and glued it down, and then we coated it with latex. We sprayed like, I think 2 or 3 layers on, and then airbrushed everything so it gave it that membrane transparency sort of look. These wings could get locked off like they are here. We had like points where basically be able just to lock the wings in different positions, be it up or down or halfway or opened all the way. And then when we needed to rod puppet them, we'd attach the rods to the tips of the wings and stand there and flap them about. And I think what we ended up finding out is one person doing the puppeteering was better than 2, just because we could never really get the right coordination. This is one of the Archangels. This is the first costume test we put the wings on. And here's a prime example of the wings not flapping at the proper the proper tempo. But it was tough. I mean, 2 people have to try to beat 1 brain. So again, another failed attempt. But we ended up figuring it out. And like I said, it was easier. One person was behind and crossing their rods over and could flap them. And that seemed to work out really well. But I think we made about 7 or 8 pairs of this is a stunt go wrong. This is what happens when you just take a header, I guess. We made about 7 or 8 pairs of the white wings, and same with the demon wings, and same with the Archangel wings. And I think right now I've got a pair of each sitting in storage. I'm not sure what happened to the rest of them. I think they kind of fell apart with all the shooting we've done. Fallen Angel was one of my favorites. I really took to heart that episode, and Lucy was pregnant at the time and getting bigger and bigger every day. And I wanted to be as careful with her as possible. I did her makeup personally because I loved her to no end, and I didn't want anything to happen to her, and I just loved being with her. And, you know, I just wanted to make sure she was taken care of. One of the other guys, Bruce Fuller, was doing Hudson's makeup, and Mel Tucker was doing Renee's demon makeup. And we had all the wings and all that, and I knew it was arduous for Lucy. She was trying to do her best, and she was tired and pregnant and didn't want to be in all this makeup, but she was a trooper.
Why are we groveling down here in the slime? While they live up there in purity and grace.
Lucy was always great about all her makeups. I mean, I knew it was uncomfortable. She hated having the lenses in. She hated having her body painted. She hated being in this big mechanical contraption. But she never, ever, ever, ever complained. She never said, you know, I'm sick of this, get this off me. She was always polite, always. I made these hoof shoes for her, and I called Rob. I said, what size shoe does Lucy wear? She wears about a 9. Well, Lucy doesn't wear a 9, so I bought these shoes, all these shoes, and we made all these boots. She's like, geez, these don't fit. Who gave you the size? I said, your stinking husband, Rob Tapper, did. She's like, he doesn't know anything. I'm like, great. So I tried to modify and make it. She's like, don't worry about it. I'll just wear them when I have to. But she was always a pleasure and always funny, and whenever I did her makeup, she would just sit there and go, tell me stories, make me laugh, and I would just tell her all these crazy stories. She'd just sit there in the chair and laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh, and it made the makeup session go very quick. You know, before we knew it, we were done. She was done. She's like, that was fast. I'm like, it's really 2 hours, but I had you laughing for about an hour and 45 minutes. And, you know, I miss those times. I miss the people in New Zealand and the other crew members and the other actors like Renee and Ted and you know, all good people, all really good people. And, you know, who knows, maybe they'll do a Hercules Xena movie someday and they'll all get together. I doubt it, but maybe that'll happen.